Hey, what's up guys? Elliott Hulse here, and I haven't uploaded a video to this channel in quite a while, but I'm just going to hit the ground running. We're going to begin today with a question that I have for you. Are you or have you ever found yourself in a transition phase in your life? And when I say transition, I'm talking about biological transition, the obvious biological transition of going from childhood to adulthood, adolescence. Of course, the obvious biological shifts from adulthood to middle adulthood to old adulthood, right? When we're elderly or wise and gray. There are significant physiological markers, like when you go from when you're a child into a man, right? You grow some hair on your balls, you start smelling different, and you have different interests and a completely different character, right? A 7-year-old and a 17-year-old, they're worlds apart. But a 17-year-old and a 27-year-old, world apart also. The physiological changes might not be as significant. They're there, You're usually a bit more manly at 27 than you are at 17, more testosterone, more muscle, more experience. And then, of course, every 7 years thereof, there is a shift in our physiology, our psychology, our character, and we can't help but to change the circumstances. Our world changes as we change. Oftentimes we think that circumstances get weird or circumstances change or things are going on outside, but really what's going on outside is far more consistent than the shifts that are happening in you at all times. You're dynamic. You're never the same. Even from year to year, you're evolving. But there are some significant milestone markers, and oftentimes we recognize them as, like I said, becoming a teenager, but I find myself in a milestone marker of transition from early adulthood, that time when you're grinding to find your way, and middle adulthood. I'm 36 now, y'all. And where I find myself and what would be resourceful for me, character-wise, no longer, what was resourceful for me in the past is no longer resourceful for me today. Right? Because where I find myself, and some of you who may be middle-aged, or those of you who even evolve quickly. I'm doing this a little early. One of my mentors was like, boy, you're doing what I did 10 years earlier than I did it. I happen to grow up early, right? I married my high school girlfriend. This is what I do. It's just I'm fast that way. But I find myself in this place where transition is inevitable. You cannot resist transition. You try to resist transition, that's when you fall into depression. That's when you fall into anxiety, confusion, when you resist the flow of nature. Now, what I'm discovering, what I'm learning, because 2015 has been a huge transition year for me and a huge awakening for me. When I say that, I've learned a lot of things, specifically about myself. And the more I can learn about myself, the more I have to offer you through these videos. Now, of course, my absence from videos has a lot to do with the fact that I have to grow personally in order to have anything to offer you. And for the past year, it's just been it would be inappropriate for me to make videos in this sort of middle ground that I find myself in. But as with every dark season, right, cold season, winter time, yin going in, there is a budding, there's a springtime. And I don't think we can dictate when that happens for us individually, but we could look for the signs when it's about to occur. Right? And I'm starting to feel the flowers budding in me right now again. So, here comes the camera and here comes some wisdom, little bits of wisdom, but really, part of what my wisdom has accumulated is to ask more questions rather than make more statements. So as I'm having this conversation with you, remember it's an open dialogue, and my question to you is, right, I'm going to assert something and then I'm going to ask. I'm asserting that, I'm saying that it's a fact that when you find yourself in this transition period, two things must happen. When you're going from childhood to adulthood, so on and so forth, there are two things that need to happen. Break down and build up, right? Those of you who are familiar with my Strength Camp YouTube channel, who've come here out of my fitness gifts that I've given to the world, understand catabolism and anabolism. You understand breaking down the muscle and building it up so that it could be stronger. This is what has to happen to our character. It is what happens to our character. Whether we resist it or not, we have to break down, destroy, deconstruct, die to old habits, old character, old rituals, old ways of being that were once resourceful. Don't get me wrong. These were very resourceful when you're a child to behave a certain way. When I was a teenager to behave a certain way. When I was in my early adulthood YouTube grind, make 10, 15 videos a week, character, it was perfectly fine for me to do things like suck down tons of caffeine and go wild on camera all day long. Right? For who I am and who I'm becoming and what I seek to build, my vision, which is very important for you to have, I can't do that anymore. It's unresourceful. It's silly. Right? That's for me to be an older version of myself. That's like, here you go. This is like a lot of the adults who still act like teenagers. How many 30-year-olds you know are still trapped in their 17-year-old body, giggling at boobies and farts, right? They act like little kids. It's no longer resourceful to giggle at booties and farts when you're trying to become a stockbroker or you're trying to work in real estate or you're trying to build your business as an entrepreneur. You gotta grow the fuck up, right? Same thing for when it was fun to giggle at farts and boobs when you were a kid. Don't get me wrong again. It's perfectly fine. You should. When my children, I have children, ages 5 to 11, they giggle at farts and it's cool. And I giggle with them because that's where they're at. Farts are still funny though. Especially when they stink, you have to just laugh and point. So anyway, my point is, of course I'm back on rant mode. My point is, what parts of you have to die? What parts of you have to be deconstructed? What parts of you have to die and be resurrected? That's the second part. The second part to every death, like the phoenix, it burns up and then rises again. This is the cycle of life. What new things have to be grown in you is my question. What new habits, what new rituals do you need to incorporate into your life? And here's the thing with these. It's going to be difficult to first choose what rituals are going to support you in the newer version of yourself, the stronger version of yourself, and how to instill them, right? So because I haven't spoken to you guys in a long time, this video is kind of like self-explanatory but also conversational. So, one of the things that I've needed to do in order to manifest my future vision, in order to step into the mature, more grown version of myself, is establish habits that get things done that support my vision, right? Now, so for example, I created a tremendous amount of momentum by creating thousands of videos over the past 5 years. It got me where I am. But where I'd like to be holds a much greater vision. It includes sharing my ideas through books. I haven't written a book or created a product in about 5 years because I dropped everything else and went full YouTube grind. I stopped writing emails. Early in my career, writing an email and making a video was a daily thing. Right? And I went hard with it. Because I went hardcore with the YouTube grind, I stopped making emails. Stopped writing emails, stopped writing newsletters, stopped writing to my blog. Now, here today, I have to choose once again the rituals associated with daily writing and product creation, writing my book. I've got a book that we're pretty close to being done with. Chris Barnett and I, we've collaborated on it to create a strength camp book. And guess what? I'm writing daily. It's a brand new habit. If you want Elliott on the daily, 5 days a week, right? On the daily, Louis Marco says that. If you want Elliott Hulse on the daily, get on my email list. I'm going to put a link down below where it takes you to my blog, elliottHulse.com, if you don't see the link. Get on my email list. I'm not selling anything right off the bat. There's no hardcore selling when you get on this email list. It's straight up Elliott Hulse giving you his bits every single day. There's always a call to action because I've always got cool things going on, like our live events happening later this month here in Tampa, so I'll link to them. But the bottom line here is that this is a new, very resourceful habit that I've had to build over the past several months by waking up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning and dedicating that hour, to writing to you. Right? It's my extension of creative energy into the world, and hopefully you enjoy partaking. Also, I realize that we have a relationship through video. Right? You've come to me, you've known me, and you see me, and we communicate through video. I've had to create a tremendous amount of space between myself and video so that I can adequately place it where it most resourcefully belongs. See, back in the day, I was doing videos all day long. I can't do that any longer for who I am today. You know, my family's growing, and for what I want to create in the future. So I've got to find a way, and I'm going to attempt it here with this one of the first of many videos I intend to make that recap my daily spark of creation email. I call it the Grow Stronger Daily Letter. So what I'll do is, right, this is my new ritual. These are my new habits. Writing on the daily, and what I'll do is I'll throw this camera up. You know, I'm not satisfied with my circumstances, meaning like the location. I had to move to this office in order to create space, but so it's not a gym. I can't make these videos at my new gym because there are too many people there. So I'd like to ultimately have a private gym where I can make these videos, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to stand here in this office every morning that I write an email, and I'm going to engage conversation with you guys because it's a ritual that serves my need for creativity, my need for communication, and adds to the vision that I'm creating in my life. Still trucks. I can't get away from trucks. I have to move my office next time to like a serene, outdoors, quiet area, really. There's not too much of that here in Pinellas County. So that's it. Look, guys, I appreciate you listening to this. I appreciate your patience. Part of the reason why I decided to make this video is because yesterday in the comment section on my Strength Camp channel, people were clamoring for Elliott because I haven't been in many of the videos. I've got good reason. I explained some of them here. But look, I get it. It's not fair. I hooked you, right? It's like bait and switch. I hooked you with Elliott Hulse, and then I'm switching you with some of the coaches at our gym. Chris Barnard, you guys love him, you know him, he's my right-hand man, but I get it. It's not Elliott Hulse. As far as that Strength Camp channel is concerned, I want it to be a channel that really features the gym, that features strength training, that features fitness in that particular way, and we'll have to see how that evolves. At the same time, the Elliott Hulse channel is straight up Elliott Hulse, and I intend to do these, I guess you could call them vlogs. That was one of the suggestions over on the comment section in the Strength Camp YouTube channel, was Elliott, just create a daily vlog. Just create a daily rant, just talk to us. And I get it, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate our conversation over the past several years, and I think it's only fair, right, that we continue in this particular way. So that's it. Here's the thing, down below, right, because we're going to make this a conversation, y'all, because I've been conversating all over the place on YouTube, writing emails. I'm really excited to speak with you guys in a fully engaged and deep way. Down below, write a little something about the parts of you that have to die or are dying in the midst of dying, right? Sometimes we can't resist it. It just happens. What parts of you are dying, which is normal and natural? There may be some resistance. You could talk about your resistance, but what part of you has to be grown? And specifically, what rituals are you now exploring, dabbling with it, and intending to integrate into your daily life? The thing with rituals is it's discipline. You do it every day, whether you feel like it or not. So there you have it, folks. I love to speak to you, love to learn more about you, love to engage in this conversation. Talk to you next time. Done.